So we're doing something a little different here today because it's a very long game. I decided to play this game by myself, and then Mike is going to join in and we're going to continue the game. The game is Zelda Link's Awakening. Believe it or not, I've never played it before. So this is basically like a big favor to myself. So I've been playing this for like the past month, just like an hour here, an hour there, you know?
Link's Awakening is actually one of my favorite Zelda games. It's probably in my top 3 Zelda games, and it's one of the greats, really. And I also think it's, for me personally, I think it's the best game on the Game Boy.
It's really awesome.
It's a really epic game.
Keeping in mind the limitations of the Game Boy, so as long as you keep in mind the limitations of the system, you know, it's really, really good. One of the best portable games, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely the best Game Boy game. What I think is really awesome is that it's not a port of any kind of other Zelda game, because, you know, a lot of times with Game Boy, they would sort of adapt one of the console games and then just, here's your portable version of it.
Right.
But this is an exclusive game for the Game Boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
For example, how they ported Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter onto the Game Boy, even Shaq Fu, where they're like watered down versions of the console games.
Right, this was an exclusive made for the Game Boy game,
Yeah. The only shame in this is because it's a Game Boy game, because it's a portable game, that's the only reason why it took me so long to play it. This game's been out for over 20 years, you know, almost 25 years, something.
In a way, that's not a bad thing, though, because you're getting to experience one of the greatest Zeldas now. At this point in your life. So.
My favorite game of all time is Link to the Past, and Link's Awakening is the one that came out right after. So it borrows a lot of things from that.
Ocarina of Time came after this, and so you'll see things like the owl in this game, which is in Ocarina of Time. The ocarina itself is in Link's Awakening.
Yeah. See, with it being a portable game, for some reason, my video store, they never rented out Game Boy games. It was always the console games, so I never had the chance to rent Link's Awakening. If I was going to play it, I was going to have to buy it, or, you know, get it for my birthday or something. But at that point, for the price of a Game Boy game, I would just get a console game, you know. I would get whatever the next
This
game,
would have been
you know?
one that would have been worth it, though.
It definitely would have been. It's also kind of hard because the commitment to play this game, because this isn't just like an on-the-go type of game. This isn't Tetris or Dr. Mario. This is like a whole adventure. I've been playing it for like 20 hours, and I just got to the last dungeon, which we're both going to pick up with
we're
soon.
up to level 8 now.
But could you imagine trying to play it on a plane and, you know, like...
running out of batteries.
Then all of a sudden, like, we're about to arrive in about 20 minutes. Just a reminder, put away your electronic devices, you know, and you're like, I'm on a dungeon right now. It's not really like a game you could just keep stopping and starting all the time. So, and with portable systems, I don't really have the time to play it when I'm on the go. I would play it more at home. Like when Link Between Worlds came out on the 3DS, I was playing it mostly at home. And it's kind of weird because you're like, wow, this game might as well be on a console.
When I played this game when I was a kid, or a teenager, I guess, I just had it plugged in at home. I just played it at home, just sitting in a chair at home. I didn't play it on the go. In fact, I actually very rarely played Game Boy or the Game Gear on the go. I think I brought the Game Gear to school one time, and the teacher took it away from me because I wasn't supposed to have it in class. But rarely did I actually play the handheld systems on the go, and you're absolutely right. A game like Link's Awakening, I had a friend I remember who played the game when it came out, and I remember him sitting in his bedroom playing the game with the game plugged in. So I think I know where you're going with this. It's kind of like, why not just have it on a console at that point? It's because they needed some epic games for the Game Boy. It just needed to have it.
It's kind of like, here's the game. If you're gonna buy a Game Boy, this is your one game to, like, you know, because it's that good.
You know what? It would be awesome to actually have a whole bag full of batteries and like go to a top of a mountain and just like actually beat this game like outdoors.
Yeah,
you know,
so you're beating Death Mountain on top.
Beat it on a boat.
The puzzle solving in this game is nuts. Not just the dungeons, but on the overworld. There's a whole trading system going on where you have to like trade things. Like give the berry to the alligator or whatever, you know, and then you keep trading all the time.
And there's something to do with shells as well, right?
I did not do that because I'm trying to beat the game, but there's a lot of secrets that I haven't gotten yet. I know there's something about the shells, and that if you get enough shells, you could power up your sword.
It's a sword upgrade.
I haven't done that. There's a lot of things in this game that I haven't even discovered yet.
Right. Well, that's what's cool is there's a lot to the game, and it's something that you can spend a lot of time on. So earlier I was like, it's worth the price. It really is, because you can put so many hours into the game, where you could buy Dr. Mario probably for roughly the same price, and...
Great game, too. I love Dr. Mario.
Dr. Mario, actually, that's not a very good example, because Dr. Mario you can keep coming back to again and again and again.
Oh, yeah.
But there's other Game Boy...
you could turn off at any point where...
There's other Game Boy games that probably you beat it once and then you never play it again. This is a game that you could put a ton of time into and play over and over.
Because there's always secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even the overworld is like a maze, which is one thing that's slightly annoying to me, actually, is that the overworld is so complicated where if you want to go to like the beach or something, you know where you're trying to get to. You know the direction, but you can't get there because there's always something blocking you. It's like, oh, there's a bunch of trees here. Oh, I got to go this way. And it gives you on this big, like, runaround.
Like in Link to the Past or in the original Zelda, the map is a little bit more forgiving, where you can walk from one side to the other fairly easily. I even remember in the original Legend of Zelda, like if you wanted to walk all the way to the right side of the map, you would get stuck here and there, but it wasn't really difficult to figure out how to get around, where in this game,
the whole overworld is a maze.
It's tough.
Of like
it's
one-way paths and
so you really have to know this game inside and out to be able to get where you want to go.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool in a way, because it makes you learn the game really, really well. This is just a game that you have to put a lot of time and a lot of thought into.
And I'm not great with sense of direction, so even playing the game for 20 hours, still I don't remember how to get to certain places. I'm like, oh wait, I gotta go to the beach. How the fuck do I get there again?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Because there'll be things in the way blocking the path.
You always run into a dead end here and there. Also, there's a lot of comedy in this game. It's very funny in the dialogue boxes. Like, there's a part where you get 100 rupees and it says, like, yay, you're happy, or something like that. There's a kid who's telling you the instructions or something, and he's like, oh, you push A to do this. Now, I don't know why I would know that, but just saying, you know. There's this girl named Marin, Marin, who you have to get.
Right.
And you know how Link always picks things up when he gets the item?
Yeah.
Well, he picks her up, and
he acquired her.
Yeah, that's really funny. And then she scolds him because she follows him around, and if you go into a house, and you know how Link's always throwing the pots and breaking things, and there's no consequences, nobody thinks anything of it, but in this game they actually address it, where if she's following you, she'll say, you're a bad boy, that was really mean of you.
For breaking the pots.
Yeah. There's this really funny part where you meet some kind of demon or something, and the demon's like, you woke me up from this sleep, I'm going to get my revenge on you, get ready, and he's going to do something really terrible. And then he increases your inventory of all your magic powder or your bombs or something.
Well, that's coming.
And he's like, now how do you like it? Now you got to carry all that junk around. So not only is it not something bad, but it's also making fun of the idea that Link has all that stuff to carry. So even though it's great for us as the gamer that we have bigger inventory, it sucks for Link because he has to carry it around.
That's in Link to the Past. There's a bat. He says the same thing. He's like, I'm gonna fuck up your magic meter or take it away or whatever, and then it's like you're actually like supposed to do that. It's like doubles your magic. Or whatever. It's actually like a good thing, because this game came after A Link to the Past, so it's probably the same character, I would imagine.
Another thing I want to say is that this game is a big weird crossover to Super Mario Brothers, mainly from Mario 2, the American Mario 2. Because it has the Shy Guys, and it has the cactus, and...
Well, this game has Goombas in it.
There are blatantly Goombas in it, and you can jump on the Goombas, too, just like Mario.
Because there's a feather that Link can get, which allows him to jump, and it's like Link is becoming Mario. It's hilarious, actually.
Yoshi makes an appearance as, like, there's a Yoshi doll or something that you trade in the beginning. And it even says in the dialogue box, wow, seems like he's appearing in a lot of games nowadays. Princess Toadstool, or Princess Peach as she's called nowadays.
Right.
It appears in there, but she's called Christine. So I feel like it's the same character, but she keeps changing her name. Yeah, even Mr. Wright is in there, like from SimCity, like the mayor guy.
Oh my god, he's in this? I don't remember that.
The biggest one of all is Wart. Like, it's 100% Wart from Mario 2. He's in it.
That's so awesome.
Now, here's what I'm thinking, because the game's called Link's Awakening. I have not seen the end yet, but I imagine Link is going to wake up, so the whole thing is a dream. So if Mario 2 is a dream that's in Mario's head, and this is a game that's in Link's head, are Link and Mario sharing the same dream?
Hey.
This is like Inception shit. There's also a really funny part where there's the bow, right? You know, like the bow and arrow. And it costs like something obscene. It's like over 900 rupees. Like, it's ridiculous. It took me I've probably been saving up rupees for like 10 hours or something like that.
But you can just steal it.
That's the thing. You can just steal it. And I wouldn't have known that if I didn't look it up, because I was very curious. I thought to myself, there's got to be another way to get that. Because I was almost saved up, too. I could almost buy it.
That's a good thing you didn't
and I was like,
waste all your money.
Yeah, I was like, should I farm for more rupees, or should I just... Maybe there's another way. So I looked it up. And what do you know? You can actually just grab the bow and walk out of the house. It's as simple as that.
What happens if you go back?
Well, here's the thing. Well, for one thing, they call you Thief the rest of the game. So anytime where it says your name, it'll say Thief instead. But that's only one minor thing. If you go back into the shop, the guy's pissed. The shopkeeper, he is pissed that you stole it. The shopkeeper zaps you with lightning like the Emperor. It's ridiculous. Like, where did he get those powers? Like, all of a sudden he's Aghanim or something.
You know who else was a thief? Mm-hmm. Ganondorf Dragmire. So really, now Link is no better than Ganon.
No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's too bad.
But another thing about the rupees is that after I got the bow, very quickly I got up to 999 rupees, and that's where it maxes out. And there isn't much else to buy in the game. Like, it's not that often when you need your rupees.
So you might as well have bought the...
Well, yeah, I might as well, but... So I get to 999 rupees, and I'm going through dungeons, and I'm constantly opening up treasure chests that have 200 rupees.
That's always
50
annoying.
rupees, 100 rupees. I'm like, I'm wasting all... Like, I probably got like 2,000 rupees from everything I did, but it maxes out.
So do you think that there should be another wallet upgrade?
Not even that, but I actually don't even feel like there should be that much rupees. It seems like it's very generous, is what I'm saying, with the rupees, when there is hardly anything to buy.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, there's that raft game, and there's like little things that you could pay for along the way.
Right.
But, you know, the boomerang is one of my favorite common Zelda items. Like, you know, it's one of my favorite weapons in all the Zelda games is the boomerang. It seems like in this game you don't get it till very late.
Yeah, because you need the mirror to get it.
The magnifying glass.
I'm sorry. The magnifying
glass. You go into like
glass.
a cave and you trade a guy for, which is actually kind of weird because you trade whatever your B button, whichever item you have equipped for the B button. So if you have the sword and you just gave him the sword, you'd be like, oh fuck, I shouldn't have done that.
You can get it back though.
But you can trade it back. Yeah. I don't know how many times it lets you do that, if it's just infinite, but
I would think so, yeah.
No game is perfect. Very few games, at least. So there are some things I don't like about it. I don't like that you have to equip the bracelet, you know, the power bracelet to pick up stones. Yeah, because normally in most other Zelda games, as soon as you get the bracelet, you're free to just pick anything up. You don't have to equip it or anything like that. It's just there.
What's so funny is the bracelet in the original Zelda is not for picking things up. It's actually just for moving the rocks
pushing
and going through the warps. But yeah,
Link to the Past. As soon as you get that, you can just lift everything up.
Link to the Past isn't even a bracelet, though, is it? Isn't that a
gauntlet? It's the glove. It's the gauntlet. Yeah,
so
that's true.
So they're bringing back the bracelet in this, but like you're saying, you have to turn it on every time you want to lift something, which is a little bit annoying.
Yeah, and like no matter what it is, the bracelet or the glove, whatever the thing is to make you pick things up, you have to keep equipping it, and that goes the same for lots of the items. I mean, of course, you have to equip items. But I feel like there's a lot of needless equipping back and forth because if they just made more items automatic, you know?
Yeah, so that's the thing, the point right there, why I don't think this is a perfect Zelda game. It's a great Zelda game, but there's certain things about it that are a little bit annoying like that, which is why it's not my favorite, but it is a great game. And
another thing about lifting the items is you always get that message that says, like if you go up to pick something up, even if you have the bracelet but it's not equipped and you accidentally touch a stone, even by accident, if you're not even trying to pick it up, then it'll always flash that message saying like, oh, you need something to pick this up, and it's like, oh god, just make it go away, make it go away. And there's other things too, like Pegasus boots. You need to dash through certain stones, and it will. If you touch any of those things, it will. You have to wait through that message. Like it's like as annoying as the fucking day to night thing in Simon's Quest.
Oh my God.
Like it's really annoying.
Is it slow too?
It's slow because like all those words have to come up, and you're just tapping.
See, I forget because I haven't beaten this game. It was about 10 years ago. The last time I played this, I think it was like 2007 or something. But I remember absolutely loving this game. But yeah, the switching between the items was fucking annoying. In Link to the Past, you also switch between items. Like if you want to go from whatever, the bombs to the hook shot, you have to go to the menu, select the item, and go back. So now that I'm thinking about it...
But those are items that you would have to select,
Right. So, because I guess we became spoiled by things like the gauntlet where it was automatically equipped.
Yeah.
Where this one's not.
Because there's no reason why the gauntlet... Like if you go up to a rock and you push the button, obviously you're trying to pick it up.
Yeah.
But that's also because there's like more buttons too on the Super Nintendo, because the A button, I think it was the A, was always like talking to somebody or picking up something. It was always that, where I think the other buttons were for like the other weapons and everything.
Right.
There's this ghost that you get, and it follows you all around. Do you remember that part?
And was it a guinea?
It looks like a guinea, but it follows you around. It says, "Take me to my house," and you take the ghost to its house, and it's like this old like house, and there's cracks on the floor and everything.
Haunted house.
It's like an abandoned house, yeah. And then he's like, "Oh, wow," and he looks around the house and goes, "Okay, well." That was just for nostalgia. Okay, take me to my grave. And you're like, what the fuck? I took you all the way to the house just so you can look at it?
Well, that must have been the house he lived in.
It was, but that's the only... like, you thought you were going to leave the ghost in the house, and then he would give you something, and then you'd walk away.
You didn't get anything?
He makes you... Well, not until he makes you go all the way to his grave, too. So why couldn't you just go straight to the grave? I thought that was funny. I actually liked that, but it was kind of...
Well, he wanted to see his house. You had to do something for him before he was going to do something for you.
Yeah, basically. Well, he took you to two places. Why couldn't it be enough to take him to his grave?
Because he wanted to see the house first.
So he wanted you to take him to two places.
Yeah, he's like, take me to my house so I can look at it. Then you take me to my grave, and I'll give you my thing.
Yeah.
But we're not going directly to the grave because I want to go see my house first.
Usually,
before I'm laid to rest.
Usually, one place is enough.
No.
Basically, this ghost is a pain in the ass. Annoying enemies. Okay, there's something that I think is the equivalent of the Dodongo, basically, where you have to throw the bombs into its mouth. It's a very specific bomb throw, and I've gotten to these things with like 20 bombs and have used up almost... I was down to my last bomb one time, and there's like 3 of them in the room, and you have to destroy all of them. There's these card things, like they have the card suites on them, like clubs, spades, all that. So you have to, there's 3 of them in the room. You have to hit all 3 of them and time it perfectly where every single one of them lands on the same suit. It's really fucking annoying. There's this one part where you have to kill them so that a treasure chest appears, but the treasure chest is in like another part of the room that's separated by something, so you have to like go around a bunch of shit to even get to the treasure chest, and by the time you do that you end up dying or something, and if you die, or even if I think you take too long, the treasure chest disappears, and then you have to like do it again.
I mean, I kind of like that. I like when there's like puzzle enemies, because it's not just like, okay, like a game like Contra, you're just like basically mindlessly shooting stuff. Where
the puzzle stuff's great.
So I often really like when there's like puzzle enemies like that. But you found them annoying.
Oh yeah, these guys were annoying, especially that you have to do it over and over and over again. Just finished this boss. The boss of level 7 is this bird, and holy fucking shit, it was probably one of the most annoying boss fights I've ever played in a video game. What happens, the part that's annoying, is that it keeps sending these wind gusts that blows you over the edge, and you can use your shield to slow it down, but it's still pushing you. You just have to be lucky to be standing in the right spot. The dungeon maps sometimes are not that reliable in a way. There's one thing that I found out is just a little bit of a flaw. Once I figured it out, then now I know. But you know how when you get the map when you're in the dungeon and it shows you all the rooms you haven't been in,
right,
and everything? You know how it has that little dot shows you what room you're in? Well, if you go into the next room and then you look at the map too soon to see where you are again, it doesn't update the dot until you like move into the middle of the room a bit.
Oh, really?
So if you just walk in the door and turn the map,
it doesn't update it yet.
Yeah, so it confused the shit out of me for a long time until finally I realized, like, oh,
you gotta get into the room.
Yeah, get into the room more before you look at the
map.
Like,
what if you're just like standing in the door when you first go in? It's
exactly.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But once you know that, then you're good.
Okay.
But there is one other thing really annoying about the map is that sometimes in certain dungeons there's hidden rooms that are not on the map or the compass. So there was a room where I needed to get the boss key or the nightmare key, as
they're trying to trick you.
It's like they really threw you a curveball. Nowhere else. Well, they do start doing this later on, but in most of the early dungeons that never happens. Then they just throw you a curveball where I have the map, I have the compass, I'm looking all over and I don't see where there's another treasure. Like, what am I missing? And then finally I realized there's just this hidden room that has the nightmare key in it. And
so the hidden room that has the nightmare key, do you remember what you had to do to get to that? Was it like a wall you had to bomb or something? It was
probably something like that, or not even that. Like, I don't remember if it was a bomb, but even if it wasn't, still, it's a room that isn't showing up on the map.
Right.
You would just assume that if you were in a room, it would be there. You know?
Yeah, they're trying to throw you a curveball to make it difficult.
Yeah, so it's like there's nothing you can do to just know that room exists. Like, you just have to, stumble upon it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Some things in the game are pretty cryptic. There's parts where you have to use the song to do something. So there's a lot of that. And all the Zelda games are known for cryptic things. But,
they are, yeah.
For the most part, it was fair, but there were a few times where I think it went over the edge. One really bad mistake that I made a few times was using the ocarina at the wrong time by accident, because the ocarina always takes you back to the entrance of the dungeon. So I might be at a part in the dungeon where I need to use the ocarina for something else.
You chose the wrong thing.
Well, I'll use it and I'll be okay, good, I just unlocked the door or whatever it was that the ocarina did. But then I'll leave it on and I'll forget that I have it equipped. So then I'll go to like pick up a block or something,
and
accidentally hit that. It sends me all the way back to the beginning of the dungeon.
Well, you gotta not do that.
Well, yeah, that's why I said it was. That's why I said it was a mistake.
Right. That's funny.
Do you remember that rooster that you get, that you pick it up, or it's like a hen or something, and it's like flying around, and it carries you,
Is that where you... See, I'm remembering it from Ocarina of Time, where you get a rooster and you can go over buildings and stuff. I'm trying to remember in this game.
That's probably where they got it from, Link's Awakening.
Okay, so you do that in Link's Awakening.
You do.
I forgot that.
But I found it very useless. I mean, yeah, there are some large gaps you use to cross with the hen, but most of the time, there's parts where you think you could use the hen, but you can't, because there's just some little tiny wall that you can't fly over, and it looks like you could perfectly fly over it, but you can't.
Right.
So the game kind of doesn't let you go where it doesn't want you to go.
Right.
It didn't have enough worth to it.
There should have been more parts in the game where you needed to use the hen.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay.
There's a couple really tricky jumps here and there where you have to do a combination of the Pegasus boots and the feather to get over a hole, but you have to jump like diagonally or something. Right. There was this one part in a dungeon where I don't even think you were supposed to do it that way.
But you did it.
But I did, and it worked a few times. Then it stopped working, where then I was trying it for like a half hour straight and could not fucking get over the jump. So I might have just got lucky a few times with it.
That's funny.
Like there's something else you're supposed to do at that part.
Right.
There's one part where there was a glitch where I would walk into a room and it was full of treasures, and I got some of the treasures, but then for whatever reason I left the room, or I had to leave it to come back in, and then all the treasures that I didn't open yet were now all open and empty. So like a bunch of treasures, the game was just like, no, you're not getting them.
We're talking about like things in Zelda. I mean, this is slightly off topic because this is about the original, but I found out something that I never knew about the original Legend of Zelda, like just recently when I did that swordless run that I did. Did you know that in the original Zelda, when you're like in the dungeons, let's say there's a room full of dark nuts or something, if you leave the room and come back, let's say the room had 8 dark nuts. If you leave the room and come back, then there'll be like 7 dark nuts.
Oh, really?
And then you leave and come back again, then there'll be 6.
Oh.
Leave and come back, then there'll be 5.
So it's like a good glitch that's in your favor.
Yeah. Like let's say there was 8 dark nuts. If you left the room and came back, like one of the dark nuts turns into something that's like easier, I think. Like it might turn into like a Stalfos or something. it makes the game like a lot easier once you know that.
Really?
And I never knew that until just recently that you can do that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy that like 30 years later I'm still learning new things about Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So anyway, I am now up to level 8, and we're gonna continue.
Let's do it. Turtle Rock.
Mm-hmm. And we're playing on the Super Game Boy.
Yeah. Now blow that fucking frog song.